Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the December 10th, 2019 Manchester Town Council meeting. As you can see, Mayor Warner is not here. He is out of town. We could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the November 12th, 2019 minutes?
Yes.
And if so, could I have a motion for approval?
Go ahead.
I make a motion we approve the November 12th, 2019 minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Receipt of the October 2019 Treasurer's Report and November 2019 check register.
I'll make a motion we receive the October 2019 Treasurer's Report.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All approved. And the November 2019 check register.
I'll make a motion, we receive the November 2019 check register.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, received. Mayor's report. Friday yard waste pickup has ended for the year and will start again in April. The town hall offices will be closed December 24th, December 25th, and January 1st. Christmas trees will be picked up on Wednesday, January 8th, 2020, and Wednesday, January 15th, 2020. Be mindful that we must remove all decorations from the tree, including the tree stand. Snow information, and this may come as early as tomorrow. Please remember that all town streets are snow emergency routes. When the snow emergency plan is in effect, parking is prohibited. If possible, please keep hydrants free of snow. And just a note, at the end of the meeting, we'll be closing the session, and we have to go into an executive session, so we're going to have to ask everyone to leave, just giving everybody a heads up here. That will conclude the mayor's report. Town administrator.
Okay, good evening, council members, members of the community. We'll go ahead and review the November 2019 administrative report. Under pending items, I have no update either on the packaged goods store or the opioid litigation. The Lippy property annexation, we're awaiting communication from the P&Z board to the Marin-Town Council on information provided. Something that you can keep an eye out for, and you may be asked questions, the Whispering Valley Stormwater Management Facility retrofit project. White Pine Construction Company will be the contractor. The work is scheduled to begin mid-December. Construction entrance off of Route 30 needs to be installed before January 1st. You will probably see some work being done out there. This is a partnering project between the town of Manchester and Carroll County Resource Management. Also, a meeting was held on November the 18th with some of the property owners in regards to temporary construction easements across their properties. Under code enforcement and rental housing, you have in front of you the monthly code enforcement update. We do have a draft prepared for the small tower wireless facilities ordinance. It's ready to go to P&Z for review, which that draft will be given to them next Tuesday evening at their meeting for review. We're continuing to move forward on both issues, the issues at the Rohrball property and the issues at the Dowse properties. And all rental housing license applications have been sent out. They are due back the end of December. Under miscellaneous items, you see tonight on your agenda, we do have a solid waste recycling bid and the fiscal year 21 budget preparation discussion with departments have begun. We have a supervisors meeting tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, so I'll talk to all the supervisors to have their information to be prepared. Kelly will be getting something out to you folks after the holidays with the schedule of the budget work sessions. Shout out to Gail Angles. She is Chief of Resource Management with Carroll County. Gail will be retiring after 42 years with Carroll County government. So we wish her all the best. And also from our staff, we want to wish the Mayor and Council, our residents, the community, a safe and happy holiday season.
Thank you, Steve. Any questions for Steve? This work that's going down Whispering Valley, is that going to have much of an impact on getting in and out of Michelle Road?
It will not. All, the construction entrance comes in off of Route 30, by the open field in front of the Lamper property.
Okay.
So everything's going to be right there behind the homes on Augusta
Got it.
and Michelle.
Excellent.
Steve, another question in regards to code violations. We have some of these, I know the Roar Balls is in the process and the Dosh is in the process, but we have some of these that have been open for quite some time. The animal violation, where do we stand on those? Like, I see it says waiting on the attorney. I mean, that one's been since March of 2018.
Yes.
We're, 18, 20 months into it.
Correct. We use two firms. We use two law firms. The law firm that started the process with the animal violation, let's say, is our attorney that does our annexation work and things like that. I would assume that that takes priority over a code violation. We have switched a lot of our work over to the second firm, which they're doing a bang-up job for us. So we may discuss on switching more work over to them and switching gears a little bit on code enforcement.
Okay, my reason for asking, I mean, we've followed through on many of these violations
Correct.
and enforced them with other residents. How is it fair to them that we are 18, 20 months, we're allowing
Understood.
this to continue?
Understood, yes, yes. The two large issues that I have listed that I bring up, they're very huge issues that's going to take a lot of money and time. But the smaller issues, yes, you're absolutely right.
Right.
So,
Anything else? Okay, Chief?
Yes, sir. So for the month of November 2019, we responded to 138 calls for service, 17 of which were dispatched out of town. We investigated 0 Part 1 crimes, which is outstanding. In total, we charged 10 persons during the month of November, 5 of which were for traffic-related incidents, 3 for assault, second degree, which all involved recreational football. Parents couldn't get along. 1 for reckless endangerment and destruction of property, and we charged a juvenile for tampering with autos along Maiden Lane. The Sheriff's Office is reporting 399 overdoses year-to-date, 190 of which are heroin and fentanyl related. There has been 52 fatalities year-to-date. The municipalities account for Hampstead is 11 year-to-date, Manchester is 6 year-to-date, Sykesville is 3 year-to-date, Tawnytown is 34 year-to-date, Westminster is 135 year-to-date, and Mount Airy is 19. November totals were 43 overdoses, 19 heroin-related, and 9 fatalities. Hampstead had 1 in November, Tawnytown had 3 in November, Westminster had 20 in November, and Mount Airy had 3. Traffic enforcement continues. There's been 181 total violations issued, 136 of which were warnings. That's about it.
Any questions for the chief? No? Director of Public Works report, Rodney?
Good evening, Town Council. You should have in front of you the water and wastewater data report for November 2019. And additionally, I included September and October, and they've been mathematically corrected from the last couple of months. If you have any questions on these, let me know. For the DPW report, we had 2 water leaks on the private side, 3265 Main Street, 3231 Beaver Street, 1 water leak on the public side, and you may notice this is also the Beaver Street address. Our equipment and staff detected 2 leaks, one actually a leak on their side and our side. We're responsible for our side, that's been corrected, and the resident is correcting his side. The Del Well generator replacement, we're still looking at options on replacement for this. We're considering natural gas as opposed to diesel, as long as we can get it. I'm still dealing with BG&E on the possibility of running gas to there. So if that's the case, we may go with the natural gas generator for there. Wastewater, we had 0 sewer backups on the private side or the public sides for November. The wastewater treatment plant ENR upgrade and optional expansion, we are still waiting on DPW, the state DPW approval to award to our chosen engineering firm, CDM Smith. The wastewater treatment plant effluent discharge, the switchover was December 1st. That was from spray irrigation to George's Run, and this will run for 3 months, and it will switch back in March 1st. And this is in accordance with our discharge permit with MDE. Parks, maintenance, roads, stormwater management. We did some minor asphalt curbing. Our field staff did this on Maiden Lane and Burt Fowler Road to convey stormwater in the right path. Leaf pickup continued through November and ended Monday, December 9th. Snow and ice events, we had 0 for November and hopefully 0 for December. Parks and facilities mowing completed, this has been completed for 2019. The Whispering Valley sign rehab, that's still a work in progress, and we expect this to be completed tentatively by December 25th. The wastewater treatment plant offices upstairs flooring has been completed by Manchester staff, and this was within budget. Our snow plan preparations remain in place for this winter. Our public works field staff, we had our bi-monthly safety training. This was presented by Chesapeake Employers Insurance Company, November 20th. 2 topics we're going over, two topics were covered: winter safety, slips, trips, and falls, lifting properly and safely. We are currently reviewing equine meadows concept plans, and I have no action items for tonight.
Any questions? Very good, thank you.
Thank you.
Trash bid results. Steve, you want to walk us through this?
Let me talk.
Or Kelly?
Yeah.
Kel's gonna.
So we put out the bid, and as we normally do, is we ask for a 3-year contract and a 5-year contract to see if we can get better purchasing. And the only company to bid on it was Hughes, which is our current contractor. And looking over the numbers, it makes more sense to go with the 5-year contract. The prices for bulk pickup, yard waste pickup, and a 2-yard dumpster remain the same from the current contract to the 5-year. There was a slight increase in the per pickup, very slight. We're getting a little bit of a break as it goes out. So my recommendation is to go with a 5-year contract with Hughes Trash.
Is this something we can take care of tonight, or do we have to? Okay. And we've had a long-standing relationship with Hughes.
Yes.
have.
Yes.
Very good company to work with.
They're
Little or
very-
no problems along the way. The grass clipping project went very well. Very happy with
The yard
Bill.
waste.
They clean up after themselves. If they have, a spillage out on the highway or street, they clean it up. So very happy with them.
Any other discussion? Well, if I have a motion to accept this bid?
I'll make a motion, we accept the bid from Hughes Trash for 5 years for the new contract.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. BGE request for perpetual easement.
We have with us tonight Megan Eves. Megan is the intergovernmental
External Affairs Manager, that'll work.
There you go, with BG&E.
Good evening, Town Council. Thank you for having me this evening. If you recall, back in, excuse me, in July, the council and mayor voted in the gas assent ordinance for the town of Manchester. As you know, back in 1965, that's when it was first enacted, and then we were trying to renew it. Unfortunately, the date was left off when you guys signed it in July, so we took it back to our legal staff. They said that I needed to come back and to review it with you again. Then after further discussion, we found in most of our municipalities and jurisdictions, we have perpetual, which means it's forever and a day rather than 50 years. So instead of just renewing the 50 years, I wanted to come before you this evening to see if you'd be willing to do the perpetual. And after speaking with Kelly and Steve earlier, I'm not sure if we have to bring it up tonight's meeting and then come back in January and sign off, so I will leave it up to your direction.
I think what we can do is we can introduce this new ordinance in January and start off fresh, if that's what the council would like to do with a perpetual agreement with BG&E. I mean, it's for, we reviewed the 50, our attorney reviewed the 50, and he had no issues at all. Basically, you know, it's a utility, gas utility. It's in the street. We extend it out to wherever. And this gives them the right to run their lines and repair their lines. So I don't see that there's any issues.
Nope, it's by ordinance, and it's not an emergency, so we
Right.
can't pass it.
So I think that if we introduce it in January, we can keep that ball rolling and go that route. So
All right, then that's the plan then. We'll
Okay.
introduce it in January and go from there.
Any questions for me?
I don't think so.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming out.
I will reach out to our attorney for him just to take a quick look at this. He had no problems with the 50-year. I'm sure he won't have a problem with this one. It'll probably be a 2-minute conversation, and I'll get back with everybody on that. So.
Very good.
And Steve, you have, I sent it to you, the petrol, and if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call, and,
Yep.
I can get you in contact with your attorney with our attorney. if there's any
Yep, that's fine, Megan, no problem. Yep.
Okay, comments and questions from the community. Al and Carol Minton? Al or Carol, or Dan? There's just two different addresses here, so. Is it all the same
Yep.
subject matter?
Yep,
Okay.
good evening, council, yeah. My name is Dan Minton, I'm the son of Al and Carol Minton, and they live at 2851 Park Avenue. And they started having issues with the neighbor using a four-wheeler and messing up their driveway. I'd also like to thank Steve Miller and the police for their assistance with that matter. And Steve, I believe you told my mother that the zoning committee has determined that the lane, the driveway is my parents'?
We
Is that
have
correct?
information, I was shown information that the Mittens driveway, your parents' driveway, is owned by your parents.
Is owned, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that is correct.
Well, I was sort of encouraging my parents to really to get the town to put that like in a writing, and then sign it and give it back to us, so that we have something here. So then if the neighbors cause problems, we can kind of show that into their face and say, look,
we
this
can-
is what the town of Manchester has determined.
Yeah,
and-
we can give you a copy of that. It was and then, you may want to, if it's not already, you may want to incorporate that into your deed, into your deed of easement.
Okay.
And that way it will be, it will be placed in there. But, yeah, if your parents stop by, we can give them a copy of that. That's no
Okay.
problem.
Okay. Yeah, the one particular neighbor we've had ongoing problems, well, the neighborhood has, because it's my understanding that there was enough calls to the police or the town that they were given a fine.
The
for
situation
noise-
was-
Noise disturbance, or?
They were considered a nuisance house.
Okay,
And the actual owner of the house was served the citation because of the number of police calls to that location.
okay,
Unfortunately, one of the letters was intercepted by the resident, and then we made sure that the actual owner, who lives at another location, actually got the letter. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, that things have calmed down?
Yes, I believe. You would know better.
Yes, they have calmed down.
Use the mic.
Mrs. Mitten, can you go,
You have to go to the mic.
can you go to the mic, please?
Yes, from what we what we can see, the problem right now has stopped, but the damage is already done to the lane, to the road that we travel to get in and out to Park Avenue. And I'm still waiting for an estimate to be given to me of how much the repair will cost to repair the lane, the road that we have to use to get in and out to Park Avenue. I've made a couple of phone calls, but I haven't received the estimate yet. So when I receive the estimate, I'll just bring it up to the police department? Is that what I would do?
So you can, but it'll get a little sticky with the ownership of the land because the trespassing will start after the ownership of the land starts.
Yeah. What the problem
We'll have
is.
to talk to the state's attorney for an actual destruction of property of the land.
Yeah, we have to use this road, like I was saying, to get out of our driveway, to get out to Park Avenue. Our neighbors who live right on, right beside Park Avenue, they
Right.
have a private driveway of their
Right.
own that they can use to get to Park Avenue. They have what was once a chicken coop, chicken house. They like to come back our lane to the chicken house to work on vehicles and things. It's now, they use it to put old vehicles in there and work on them. One time, when the weather was bad, and we decided to park out at the end, the then son-in-law was mad because he couldn't get back to the chicken house to work on his tractors, so we received a warning ticket. It was like a ticket from the police department that we could no longer park at the end of our driveway, or of our lane, when the weather was bad.
That was
He's
years
no-
ago, right?
Pardon?
Years ago.
Yes, that was years ago. He's no longer there, so we don't have the problem with the son-in-law anymore. But the grandson was, of the property owner was causing all the problems, him and his friends. He supposedly has moved out right now. Hopefully, he won't be back, because he's the one who was causing all the problems. And from what I understand, his grandfather told him not to be riding back and forth the lane anymore. But the damage has been done. We had millings put down in the lane and to keep the bad puddles from forming and all the ruts and everything, and that's just ruined. So, and my son spent his hard-earned money one year. That was a gift to us to fix up the lane, and that's a mess, just a total mess. So, we want them held responsible for that.
So we have plenty of documentation, but it may be more of a civil issue versus a criminal, but we do have the documentation.
Yeah, okay.
Is that something you'd be able to provide guidance on?
Yeah,
in
we'll
which
talk
is
to the
best-
state's attorney when it comes
The
up.
best pathway for them
Yep.
to take?
Yep.
Yeah,
This, the chicken house that my mother's referring to, like they, when they bought the property, they put a garage door on the end. And the only way they can get a vehicle into that garage is to come back my parents' driveway and turn, because there's not enough space.
Right.
So, but it was originally a chicken house
Which
and never a garage. So, that's right. So,
which
so,
we, yeah.
so it was so it really needs to be established with documentation that this is a private driveway, and, you've been using this to get a vehicle in there, so, sorry, you're gonna have to put a garage door on the front and use the property that you have from Park Avenue to access any of your property from there on out,
And
not,
we never objected to them coming back the lane to get into the chicken house until they become they're so disrespectful. They have no consideration for anybody else, and this is what it's come to, And so if we have the lane repaired, we feel like we don't want them coming on it at all anymore,
Right.
because it's not necessary for them to really do that.
And, I mean, Steve Miller can verify to all of you what the problems that they've caused over the years.
Yes.
The neighbor to the right of them, she called a lot of times complaining about them.
That is correct.
Various issues, and,
Well, the neighbors at the end, they had to put up with all the big clouds of dust and the noise, much worse than what we had to.
from the four-wheeler.
Our problem was the damage to the lane. So, they've been a problem for everybody. It's a nice neighborhood, basically, to live in. They're the only ones that, as far as I'm concerned, have ever caused the problems. So,
So at minimum, once you get this established, do you have an attorney?
no.
Because what I would recommend is a no trespassing order, and the information be sent to the address, because then that gives us a leg to stand on. So that way we'll have, basically the proof will be there, that it's your driveway, and they've been given clear direction to stay off the driveway.
So we would have to contact, what would, you want us to give you what, is it a written?
I think once you establish that you have proof that it is your driveway, it is owned by you, you put that into your deed. It may already be in there, but if it's in your deed, then that is your driveway. Correct me if I'm wrong, Chief, but you may have to post it, no trespassing,
Right.
and this is your private drive, and you're responsible for that. So anybody that trespasses on that private drive, which is owned by you,
Well, the one policeman wanted my parents to put up no trespass. He was,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't you that came, right?
Officer
It was another.
Rohrbach.
Yeah, he wanted them to put up private drive and no trespassing signs, so they would have more authority to,
I think the law demands that, doesn't it?
It does. You have to post it, and you have to give them a notice/warning. So the letter that I'm asking, I hate to use the word target. It's a target letter, but it's an informational letter. Hey, this is our driveway. You don't have permission to travel on it. We will prosecute.
I guess, for those of you who don't know, Steve might remember, but the road that goes past our house, when they the town drilled those wells on the west side there was no Mendy Drive. It was Mendy Circle and that ended. Okay, in order to get to these wells, they used to come back a road past our house, go down through the woods, across the stream to get to these wells. And they kept it plowed out in the wintertime to get back to these wells. That's, I thought might be interesting to know that.
Thank you.
Okay, committee reports.
At the meeting, there wasn't a whole lot that was discussed. One of the things that's gonna be coming up is, everybody will be happy to know Comcast is having a rate increase.
It's what?
Having a rate increase. I don't have all the details on it yet, but that has come out. But other than that, that's really the only thing that was discussed, other than a few other issues that aren't.
Councilperson Smith, we have been fielding calls here at Town Hall about the rate increase and channels are being taken away. That's a big deal. I mean, we just refer them to Comcast. I mean,
You can
there's nothing.
really,
we can
Carol
do.
is probably the person I think you can really do, but, or Comcast. She sent something out, and obviously their answer is they're doing their best to give us the best service, but there will be a rate increase. And they do not plan to open the Westminster location
No,
back up,
that's-
unfortunately. We've tried everything. I mean, we've written letters, the commissioners have
done.
written letters, so
Gotcha.
that's where we are. Yeah, we'll have, at the next meeting, I'm sure that'll be discussed a little further as far as the rate increase, but there weren't any real answers except for that right now.
Community improvement projects.
Okay, so, Black Friday, we had our annual town open house, Old Fashioned Manchester open house. It didn't seem to be quite as well attended this year as years in the past. Maybe to the weather, I'm not sure, maybe because it was so late in the season. But those people that were there seemed to enjoy it, so they seemed to have a nice time. Between that and the Municipal Government Works flag in the month of November, that keeps us on track for Banner City. This week is the quarterly MML at Tawnytown. I'm gonna attend that, so we're on the right track to move forward with Banner City.
And kudos to the fire department train garden. That was really
That,
nice.
that is actually not the fire department, it is a private, from what I understand, it is a gentleman who had a private collection, who reached out to the fire department and said, hey, I'd like to come set it up. He went and set it up on his own, and he worked hard on it. There's a lot of villages in there.
The Manchester Area Merchants Association is holding their annual Christmas party on the 19th at Spargo's between noon and 1. Now, they are collecting items for the Manchester House, in case you're interested, socks, hats, and gloves. Parks and Recreation?
We had a meeting last night, and we have a lot of activities coming up. And you're not gonna find me at this first one, it's on January the 1st. Okay, it's the first day hike, and it is on January the 1st at 2 p.m. And they wanna start a 2020 club where people to hike 20 miles in 2020. So that's the first thing. And then March the 29th is a Sunday, it's gonna be a community work day. If you're not a member and wanna join, come on out. April the 1st, it's on a Saturday, I do believe. It's a members' day. There'll be activities and food for any members. April the 18th and 19th, it's a blitz, and that's when scientists and naturalists come and record, they survey and record all the living species within a certain area. And apparently the kids just love that. So that's a 2-day event. May the 16th and 17th is the first day for the first weekend for the family campout. May the 17th is a plant swap. Bring a plant, take a plant, give us $2 and take some plants. It is a great event. So that's what we have set up, and this stuff is not on the website yet, but will be shortly. That's it.
Planning and Zoning?
Okay, two noteworthy items. Steve had mentioned that we held a work session about a month ago to discuss annexation of the Lippy property. After that meeting, we had asked our town attorney to summarize that discussion for us. He has done that. We didn't think he quite captured the entire conversation the way we intended, so we asked him to revise it. He did that. We received it, I think it was yesterday, Steve, you sent that in. So we're still reviewing his updated summary of the work session. So we'll have something to the mayor and council, hopefully shortly, soon. The other item, last month we had Earth and Air Technologies on behalf of Gary Lamont proposed changes to our R40 zoning to allow for the solar panels. At our last month's meeting, not all the members were there on the commission, so we're holding a work session tomorrow evening to continue discussions on that matter. Again, I will update the mayor and council.
Very good.
And that's it.
Our youth representative, Trent, cannot be here tonight, but he was nice enough to send something in. I'll go over it real quick. This is a major week for the Fine Arts Program. The choral concert is currently underway, displaying an assortment of holiday songs that the classes have been working on for the last few months. Instrumental program is performing this Friday, December 13th at 7 p.m. The theater department is holding auditions next week for their spring musical, Legally Blonde. Sports, the boys' basketball team has a couple of games starting at 5:30 on Thursday at Catoctin High School. The girls' basketball team is also playing on Thursday, but at Hartford Technical High School starting at 3:30. Varsity wrestling has a series of matches on Friday at 3:30 and Saturday at 9 a.m. Varsity cross-country team has an invitational meet on Friday at 3:40 at Hagerstown Community College. The last day of school before the break is next Friday, where the student body will have a pep rally featuring past alumni, a series of holiday games, and several fine arts performances. The school is incorporating festive Fridays where they enjoy days such as Pajama Day and Ugly Sweater Day. And finally, and most importantly, there are only 115 days left in the school year. He says, that's all from me. Have a good night. Anything else? Okay, we need a motion to adjourn and then to go into executive session.
I make a motion, we adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And a motion to go into executive session.
Make a motion, we go into executive session.
I'll second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.